Hey everybody, John Huber here, Maryland Education Network, brought to you by Maryland K-12. Fox Baltimore is out with a little piece today talking about attendance in Baltimore City schools. And they're going to bring the school board people in and they're going to check with them and say, you know, is there a correlation or is it a causation? Whenever I see, you hear these studies all the time. You hear things like, well, the studies show that attendance is like the number one contributing factor to poor school performance. So the question, it's a chicken egg thing. What came first? I think that when you look at this, at least in my opinion, the city is recognizing that maybe, just maybe, attendance is not the cause, but it might be a symptom of a much deeper problem. You think? So the people who say, well, the problem is they're not in school. We got to get them in school. You've seen the things. I remember years ago they had this one where they took a paddy wagon and they rode around the city. They rounded up all these kids, and the news camera was there, and they're showing them. They're showing them, taking them in the yay, get those kids back in school. That's where they belong. What do you think those kids are going to do when they get in that school? You think they're going to go in and sit down and go, oh, you got me. I'm going to open my book. Let me get back to work. No. And you see the one with I think it was Mayor Dixon. I can't remember. There was or a councilwoman or someone was riding around in her city car with her drivers. She sees some kid doing something. She stops and says, "What are you doing there? You belong in school." So she takes him to school, and all the cameras follow her. Yay, you, yay. They're not going to school for a reason, okay? Because they have more important things to do. They have better things to do. They have things that are more appealing to do and things that they think are probably going to be more productive than to go to school. Is it the school's fault because of this? Everyone wants to blame the schools, but I think that it's a lot deeper. So I guess my point here is that they are finally recognizing that attendance is not the cause of all this. That attendance is just another symptom of a very, very sick, not just a city, but a society. I saw a stat in that report from Fox Baltimore that said that there are more students chronically absent than not chronically absent. That means more than half of the students in Baltimore City are absent more than 10% of the time. That's how they define chronically absent, 10% or more. When I was in school, I was in charge of attendance many, many times. It was the target used to be 94% for the whole school, an average of 94%, and I don't know what it is now. And the measurement mechanisms they use are kind of odd. They used to stop at like March 1st or March 15th or something like that. So anyway, attendance, I'm glad to see the city is opening up their eyes a little bit and saying, you know what, maybe attendance is just a deeper symptom as opposed to, it's an easy target to go, well, that's the problem. Kids don't come to school. Well, they're not coming to school for a reason, okay? And those are the reasons that need to be addressed. And you would think that after all these years, they would have some kind of a solution. I don't necessarily have the solution, but I'm not being paid that kind of money to sit around and figure this stuff out either. I would certainly hope that they realize that there's a deeper something going on, and the reason the kids are chronically absent, that's what needs to be addressed. They need to feel like school's a better place. They need to feel safer. They need to feel like they're actually learning something. And the parents need to be held accountable for not taking them to school. One of the things I used to do when I was an administrator, I used to take parents. I mean, I didn't take parents, but I helped the PPW. We would take parents to court who didn't send their kids to school. And that was the biggest thing that changed attendance. Schools do all these things where they have their perfect attendance ceremonies, which is good. I'm all for that. And their pizza parties and their attendance bingo. I was at a school one time where the principal said, we're going to have attendance bingo. We're going to give away money, and they would get on the morning announcements, and they would have this bingo thing, and you had to be there to win, that kind of stuff. And I have nothing against those things. I think those are good. We should reward the kids for showing up. But the biggest thing that I ever saw, in my personal opinion, that changed attendance and that improved attendance was when parents were held accountable. When the county came knocking on their door, and we used to have this, I think they still do, it's called Project Attend. We used to take the kids to like this quasi type of court. We'd go in the courtroom and all that. And it was very effective, and it was very good. And that's the thing that did the most. All these other incentive programs are nice, but you want the kids to come to school, you need to let their parents know, if they don't come to school, we're coming for you. Along the same lines, you see there's the Baltimore City starting their curfew. It's one of those things to me, like I always say, what are you going to do if they don't? What are you going to do when a cop rides down the road and sees a 10, 12-year-old kid at midnight? What are you going to do? They say they're going to take them to engagement centers or something like that. It's just a term, because they want to say you're going to take them downtown, and maybe there are these places where they're going to take them in various city facilities. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. I hope it does. But the fact is, there's a reason those kids are out so late at night. It's because their parents are letting them be out late at night. And those are the ones that they need to go after. They need to go after the parents. And it's been my experience that and that alone has been the most effective thing. Look, this thing happens over in Brooklyn Park in northern Anne Arundel County. Very similar, not similar, but look at the parents. These are the parents. This is what we're dealing with. We have to change them. Kids are going to be kids. They're going to do what they can. They're going to get away with what they get away with. That's it. But anyway, as far as Baltimore City, we'll wait and see. I'm glad to see that they realize that attendance is just a symptom of something else, or they're starting to think it, and they're going to talk to some of the school system. You can't blame the schools for lack of attendance. I've always felt that way. It's not their fault. Their job is to teach them. Their job isn't to go out and round them up and drag them in here. But anyway, just some of my thoughts on the new Baltimore City concern over attendance and chronic absenteeism. So anyway, have a great day.